It's too early in the morning. It's like 7 o'clock. I don't know how you early birds do it.
Stop! You know, your mind has an uncanny ability to dream up the biggest monsters when you don't know what's going on. Isn't that just crazy? Maybe I am crazy. Who knows?
Good morning. It's Comet Troy. It's too early in the morning. It's like 7 o'clock. I don't know how you early birds do it. Anyway, today's an exciting day. My contractors just arrived to install my septic tank and field lines. I'm so excited. It's getting pretty stinky around here in my RV. It's time to dump. I've been waiting and they're here. Let's go see what's going on up there.
Stop! Let me just tell you what's going on there. You know, your mind has an uncanny ability to dream up the biggest monsters when you don't know what's going on. And so I'm filming this scene here and I see these, looks like black rocks in where they're digging. And then I see a couple of the workers frantically jump in there. I'm like, what is going on here? Are those like, you know, diamonds certainly don't look glassy when they come out of the, you know, the ground. They probably look black. Did they just find some black diamonds? You know, and these things are pretty big. I'm like, holy cows, what's going on here? So they jump in the pit, pick up what I think is maybe black diamonds, and they put them in the excavator. They don't tell me what's going on, so I'm like, oh my God. Do I have diamonds on my, this is how the mind goes crazy. It's like, oh my God, I got diamonds on my property. And these contractors are just stealing them from me. Do I have mineral rights? You know, how am I gonna get these back? What am I gonna say to them? And I'm like, and my mind is just going crazy. It's like, oh my God, they could be worth millions, millions. And here they are just scooping up everyone's diamonds throughout all these ridges. I'm like, this is insane. And then the reality set in. There weren't diamonds. Some parts fell off the excavator because they were digging in this hard dirt. You know, that was a big nut or a pin or something. I actually went and looked at it later, just to confirm that I wasn't losing millions of dollars on diamonds that were being taken from my land. But it's just crazy the way that the mind just goes, you know, thinks up these worst, most dramatic, monsteristic stories that you can think of. So here I thought I had diamonds on my property and then they were being stolen from me. Isn't that just crazy? Maybe I am crazy. Who knows?
I have several concerns with how the job is progressing so far. And it's not the contractor's fault per se. I'm a little concerned about the position of the actual tank, only because it is lower down the hill more than I would have liked. I would have liked it more, you know, next to the road, and you know, it's kind of in the field line area. So I wish it would have been, you know, more up here along here, because we lost a lot of fill line area. Maybe, you know, I'm not a septic guy. Maybe it'll be fine, but so that was my first concern. My second concern is that after they get about, you know, 16 to 18 inches below the topsoil, they're running some very hard chert. You know, I don't know. It's one of those things where they have a mini excavator here, or a small excavator, I think it is. I don't think it's not a subcompact. It's a step up from the subcompact. So it's a mini excavator, and it just doesn't appear to be big enough to get through the rock. So I'm hearing some rumblings that they might we might have to stop and, you know, reassess and you know, pivot here. Sound like they're still going at the moment, so we'll see. I'm just waiting for that conversation or meeting to happen, because it's a slow process. You know, they were expecting to have the whole entire system in, you know, today, and at this rate, they'll be back here tomorrow digging some more. There's, I mean, a lot of rock. I mean, you can see it here in the video I'm showing behind us, and it's just incredible of the challenge. And my third issue is, or my third concern, none of these are issues per se, they're concerns. I'm not really sure where, I don't know if it's called effervescence or efflorescence or whatever, but I'm not really sure where that's going to go. You know, it's certainly not going to go down into the hard rock. I mean, maybe a little bit will seep down there, but, you know, I don't know. I have a lot of concerns that we're going to have some problems here. So, not problems, concerns. Concerns that could turn into problems, issues. But you know what? You don't do a project like this without expecting, you know, some bumps along the way. And, you know, we'll just pivot. We'll just do something else. Not a big deal. You know, I can't be the first one that's had this kind of a problem. So here you see the tank being delivered, and let me explain a little bit about it. This is a cement tank, and the permit requires you to have 2 compartments. The first compartment holds the waste, and then once that gets up so full, then the effluent runs over to the other compartment, and then when that gets full, it runs out of the tank. Now, I actually measured this tank and recreated it in 3D CAD software. So you see here, you know, what that looks like. And I'll take the cover off here of the tank, and you can actually look inside it, and I'll rotate it around a little bit so you can see what the tank looks like. Now, this is a 1,500 gallon tank. My permit required a 1,000 gallon septic tank and 450 feet of field lines. Now, I always, you know, like to try to avoid problems down the road, so I like to overbuild things. So I actually put in a 1,500 gallon tank, and that's what you see here going into the ground. And the 450 feet of field lines that is on the permit, there's you know, 2-foot chambers and
3-foot chamber. Now you can get a 30% reduction in size if you go to the larger size. So for example, if your specification says you need 100 feet of septic field lines, that's for 2 feet wide chambers, and you can put in 70 feet of the larger 3-foot chamber and still meet the 100-foot requirement on the permit. So our permit here was for 450 feet of the smaller chamber. We actually put in 400 feet of the larger chamber, and if you do the math, that comes out to an equivalent of 570 feet. So we went from a 1,000-gallon tank to a 1,500-gallon tank, and went from essentially 450 feet of field lines to 570 feet of field lines, giving us some extra capacity and less worry down the road.
Here's probably where the septic tank should go, you know, right in here, and be along this, you know, right along the road here, and maybe turn 90 degrees. Where it ended up being put in is down the hill a couple feet and over here. And then here's the start of the fill lines. You know, they are making progress, slowly but surely.
Panelopie is a very unique dog. You know, I noticed at a very young age when I was walking around her, of course, not me, that she had a fascination with sewer grates. She just, you know, on her walks, she would just stop and just sniff relentlessly around. Well, I guess they're really not sewer grates. I mean, on the street there would be, you know, runoff rainwater, but you know, we all call them sewer grates, I think. And you know, here, so we got the septic system in, and Panelopie in true form is doing her quality control measures, you know, as the head boss here, and checking out the newly installed septic system. And you know, I think she was jumping down next to it and out of the hole, and she was just really checking it out. So, and there's more footage of Panelopie at the end of the video. I think you'll enjoy too. She again, at a very young age, I've noticed that she really likes rolling in the dirt, and dirt to her is like catnip is to a cat. You know, she gets in sand or dirt and she just livens up, and she's a new dog. So you'll have to make sure you catch that video of Panelopie at the end. It's pretty hilarious.
Well, as I suspected, the contractor had to give up. The dirt was just, or the chert actually was just a little too hard for them to get through with this machine. And it's I think he said a 7,500 pound excavator, and it was just taking him too long to dig through the chert. And I get it. You know, these guys come out and they expect to put a septic system in a half a day to a day, and you know, based upon his progress, after 6 hours he was going to be here all week digging, and it just didn't make any sense for him to continue. And he had a team of 3 out here, so I talked to him, and he offered to not charge me any labor, which, you know, is a good indicator of someone, you know, with some integrity and some morals. I didn't have to ask for that or get upset or anything. He just said, look, you know, it's just not going to work out. I'll sell you the tank at cost, and I won't charge you anything for labor. So that's what we ended up doing. I ended up buying the tank from him, and you know, the tank is installed, so that's pretty happy. I'm pretty happy about that. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. I've been trying to get a septic installed here since April, and now it's, you know, September. I've gone through a couple referrals of contractors who are too busy, and there's more people in the area now, and contractors are even more busy than they were in April. So I'm kind of freaking out here. I don't really know what I'm going to do, you know. Maybe I won't be getting a septic till next year. And, you know, the other thing too is the original permit where the field lines are supposed to start. I put a driveway over the top of that. So, you know, I'm starting to have concerns about, you know, is this modification even going to pass the state inspector? So, I don't know. So yesterday, my septic contractor had to quit this job. You see behind me, the tank is half installed. So I had to grieve that process for a day, and now I'm back at it. I'm going to call the state inspector, have him come out here and take a look at the job, and, you know, see if this is savable, see if we can save this project, you know, not because of this contractor, well, maybe because of the contract, well, I don't know, you know, who knows what you could fail an inspection on. But my main concern is I've altered the reality from what was on the original septic permit back in January. So I think I just need to pause right now and, you know, get the state inspector out here to just reassess everything. Go or no go, you know, do we need to pivot? Do we need to do something different? Do we need to put the septic system in a different location? You know, at this point, I have a tank I own. I paid costs for it. You know, I could pull it out of that hole and, you know, move it to a different location on the property. So I don't really have any money invested in labor because, you know, the contractor that was here didn't charge me. And just, you know, another thought on that after I thought about it. You know, I don't have anything bad to say about this contractor. I would hire this guy again. You know, he had, you know, good communication, and we communicated well, and, you know, he has integrity, as I spoke about yesterday, you know, with, you know, refunding or not charging me for the labor. So nothing bad about, you know, the contractor from yesterday. I think he's a stand-up guy. It's just, you know, just a series of unfortunate events, and he just couldn't complete the job. So I'm going to have the state inspector come out, you know, reassess the situation, look at what we have now. I also had concerns about, you know, all this rock, and is that really a good drain field? And so he'll be able to you know, enlighten me on that as well. And then look at the work that this previous contractor did, and can we build on it? Do we have to, you know, fill it all in and start over? Pun intended. So, and then after I, you know, kind of get the reassessment from the state to know what the course of action is, then I guess I need to contact some contractors and see, you know, see who I can get out here for a reasonable price and, you know, has availability, which is the big concern, is the availability piece of it. So
Penelope, were you rolling in the dirt? Were you rolling in the dirt? Now you're gonna go into the shade? Look at you. You look like a gray dog. You're no longer black. Oh, you already have gray on your face? I see.